Hi YouTubers, Old Radio Al here. This is a special radio to me. It's a Truetone. It's a model D2665 from 1946. It's a 4-tube super het. That's right, it's 4 tubes. It's a farm radio. It's a battery operated only radio. I have it on a battery eliminator. Radio Museum lists this radio as being a wooden cased radio, and I guess if you saw it in a photo you'd say it was, but it's not. My guess would be tin. This radio's ultra light. It's really a light for being so big. It's like one of those old false front buildings from an old west town. You have this big front and then you turn it around and there's not a lot to it. There we go. Just a lot of empty space. Looks like it was cabinet was designed that you could have put another speaker in it, but if you look at the schematic, it's not. I mean, it only has one speaker on the schematic. Not a very big speaker at that. This is kind of interesting. I need to paste that back on better. It says when the battery is fresh, whoops, switch should be pushed down. As the battery has been in for several weeks and the reception becomes weaker, push the switch up. The white dot will show. Leave this position until a new battery is installed. Huh. Turn it back around here. It's kind of beat up. Not much you could do with this finish, and I wouldn't anyway. When the time comes and I do shrink my collection, this will be probably one of the last to go. Why? The reason this radio is special to me is pretty simple. Some time ago I decided I wanted to redo my house's interior, and I wanted to do it with antiques. So I set about accomplishing that by visiting the area's flea markets, resale shops and antique stores. You know, that probably sounds like a typical Old Radio Al weekend to you guys from what you know of me, right? Well, I was in a local antique mall, one I've mentioned from time to time. I've bought quite a few radios there. I saw this radio sitting on a shelf and I said, you know, boy, this radio would look perfect sitting on my breakfast bar. And I bought it not really knowing what it is. You know, I didn't know farm radio from anything. I took it home and set it on the counter, and I looked at it from time to time, and it got me thinking, boy, it sure would be nice if that radio actually played. So I went on our friend eBay, and I bought one that actually played, you know, already restored. It seems to me like every time I went out antique shopping I saw a radio, and I have somewhat of a electronics background. In the mid to late 70s I was a avionics tech in the Navy. After that I was a biomedical technician. I worked on medical equipment. And after that I was a computer tech during the first wave of IBM PCs and compatibles, and after that a network administrator for local area networks, and now I'm a network engineer working with enterprise wide area networks. So, you know, it had been quite a while since I'd slung a soldering iron from my hip, so to speak. But I had the background and the motivation and the love for these things and their history and what that meant to this country and the world. And then I got into this hobby full force. So that's why this old radio is special to me. It was my first. You always remember your first, right? I eventually made this radio play again, but I decided to leave it, you know, exactly as I found it in appearance. You know, there's not really much you could do with this. It's tin with you know, this wood finish on it. So let's give this radio a listen. That's what a part of why I'm in this as well. I really love the music that goes along with these radios. You know, I think it'd be kind of cool to hear how you guys got interested in these things. You know, in one of your videos, or a comment, or a PM, whatever. And there you have it. It's the TrueTone model 2665, 1946 farm radio. Hope you enjoyed seeing and hearing my first radio. first vintage radio. And more radios on the way.